right there to just go and interact with the motorists here on the N3.
The president will also unveil this revamped and cabinet-approved Arrive Alive program of the Department of Transport. And I understand this new program is, puts road safety in the national spotlight through a 365 days road safety action plan agenda. This is key.
Yes, it's very key to always ensure that, this is not just an event thing, because like I said earlier, when we, you do your research, you realize that a lot of accidents happen actually quite a month. I mean, for instance, in Limpopo, when he spoke to the MEC, he said that they are very worried that, that they experience that the accident, more than 10 people, more than 5 people dying every month, and it's a problem to them. And such initiative for campaigns will, if they are enrolled out throughout the year, they will indeed play a role in terms of trying to curb this scourge. And at your screen there, Blaine, the president is going to be saluted. Just to take you through what's going to happen here, the president is going to be saluted before he goes to the roadblock there. And there's a lot of cars in the road where you can tell that this road is very busy, and it's amongst the road that has been deemed, just for a lack of a better word, dangerous for motorists as it experiences a lot of accidents.
Something that people want to know more about, or has been spoken a lot, I guess, over the past couple of months, is the ARTO Act, which stands for Administrative Adjudication of Road Traffic Offences Act. And, it's been a long time coming since the amendment bill was developed. I think it was back in 2013. So I guess the president is likely to outline what this act means. He has signed it into law. It will have to be promulgated in order for it to be implemented. And we're not sure, I guess, Nhlanhla, when it will be implemented at this stage.
Well, indeed, Blaine, like I mentioned earlier, that the president there's an event that he's going to go to where he's going to interact with a motorist immediately afterwards. He's going to come and outline and explain in depth in terms of what it means, and when it will be implemented or enrolled going forward.
Just to give our viewers some context with regards to this ARTO Act, and one of the aspects is this demerit system. Now, in front of me, I have some information with regards to it, and it says it will see each driver starting from 0 points and earning a certain number of demerit points for each violation of traffic law. Once they've reached 12 points, licenses will be suspended. So I guess the South African public and motorists will be keen to hear exactly how this will be implemented and when. In terms of these the day's proceedings in Nhlanhla, so he will be taken through to a roadblock. Also, there's going to be some sort of a motorcade. Tell us more about that.
Motorcade is also to highlight the importance of the seriousness of road accidents in the country, of which remains a problem. And with the country, obviously, with a couple of months before the festive, as we know that during the festive, it's where even government is very conscious, expecting a lot of accidents, that they put measures into place to try and reduce the number of accidents that would be happening in our national roads.
All right, I think the motorcade is currently going past the president. He's assessing it, so to speak. Let's listen. Let's pump up the sound and take it in.
Oh, come again, Blaine.
Just describe for us what you're seeing in Nhlanhla.
So the motorcade now preparing to take the president to where he's supposed to go and interact with motorists. What we can expect, the president is going to be accompanied by the minister, the premier of Gauteng, just to go and interact and talk to people with regards to what they think about the scourges, just the general talk in terms of how they feel. Do they feel safe in these roads, and what as people do they think needs to be done to ensure that there's safety?
Yeah, look, one would say that Transport Month is now shifting into high gear. Tell us about the various stakeholders that are present there in Nhlanhla. In Nhlanhla, I know that we're competing with the sirens of these police vehicles, but if you can talk to us about the various stakeholders that will be present at this launch today.
When we came here, there's a lot of government officials to just show the seriousness of this campaign today. When we came here, we also saw a lot of private sectors also here just coming to be, part of this. I don't know, Blaine, if you can hear me. I'm even struggling to hear myself.
We can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Noise on the background.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. We saw. We saw a lot of government officials being here. I mean, MECs from provinces. Like I said earlier, that we interacted with a lot of MECs from the 9 provinces. But Blaine, we have to, it looks like it's a tight schedule here. We have to, leave you and the viewers as we are supposed to go and follow the president where he's going. Yes.
Right. Go on. And get onto your horse. We'll catch up with you a little later on. The president will be delivering the keynote address in the main event, launching Transport Month and launching something called the 365 Days Road Safety Action Agenda. This is a revamped and cabinet-approved Arrive Alive program of the Department of Transport. So we're likely to hear much more about that. We'll catch up with Nhlanhla in a short while. Meanwhile, the Democratic Alliance has welcomed the candidacy of Helen Zille for the position of chairperson of the party's federal
and 2 taxi bays where we are searching taxis and vehicle with trailers.
Okay.
There is also a vehicle that is used by the traffic police about for the checking of the trucks.
Yes.
So yeah, the weighing of the trucks and the taxis especially to check their roadworthy. So we'll take you through, Mr. President.
Sure.
But thank you for visiting. I think it's the first time in my life to be with the President of South Africa. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
It'll be a great honor.
You want the President?
You want to start with the taxi, right? Okay.
Where do we go? Let's start with
No, wait, they're saying here. I think it's
Members of the media, can you come this side?
Mohammed.
Media, let's go this side.
media this side.
Media, face this side.
From this side, members of the media.
Okay.
Let's keep this area here. Give us a space. Please, give us a space. Please, please give us a space. Let's get the guys. Move back.
President is coming around here.
Yeah.
This revamped and, we're told, cabinet-approved Arrive Alive program of the Department of Transport. This new program will be, well, I guess, place road safety in the national spotlight through this 365 days road safety action agenda to transform road user behavior. That is key, transforming the road user behavior. And this, well, forms part of the Auto Act. Is one of the aims of this act is to get to, the nub of the issue, what causes these accidents, and thereby changing the behavior.
Oh, so we are new now. We are the siyabonga kakhulu udala uwenza lo msebenzi. Okay. Funa ukuthi i-license yakho iphi mfowethu awuthi namhlanje ngiyiphoyisa. Ya no iphoyisa umongameli ya no namhlanje ngiyabopha namhlanje. Ngiyabona. Ngiyabona hayi une-license ngiyabona. Eqondile. Siyabonga. Ushayele kahle. Ungagijimi ngespeed esiphezulu kakhulu. Ya. Ngiyajabula futhi ukuthi uphuze umahe kuphela utshwala ungena. Uphuza amahe namanzi. Ya. I-seat belt uhlala uyifakile. Kunemanje ngoba
Okay.
Siyabonga. Siyabonga. Okay, out here.
Who's next?
It's going to interact with commuters.
Wow. ukuthi ngiyabona i-seatbelt ukuthi uthanda uyifakile ngoba wazi ukuthi kuzoyenzekani. So niwafaka ama-seatbelt niwafune ukuthi akuphi. Uma uyifake kahle hayi Uzosinda. Nihambe kahle. Ekhaya kahle. Siyabonga. Siyabonga kakhulu.
This is supposed to be a bloody bag.
That's one, yeah.
Sorry.
Wait here. What happened? What? So just find a girl, right? Let's try.
Oh, they opened, yes. Now we are going to kill the engine. These are the old cars. Where's the owner? Where's the driver? It's a very old.
Can you allow the owner, please? Cameras, can you allow the owner to pass?
Oh, you also.
I've been working with these guys for some time.
Kunjani? Siyaphila. Imoto yakho
Yebo president.
isahamba kahle indala.
Isingaba nenkinga president.
Yaba nenkinga.
No cha mina, ngaba nenkinga.
Yeah.
So indaba lemoto le bengingemoto. So ukuthi le moto le bathi ngibhadale le namanje ukufuna sila besizwe kuze uproject yakho sokuba bathi uyalontsha la. Indaba zemisebenzi. Yebo baba. Futhi angikhona ukuthi iphithisi ngoba kunenye imoto engiyipolitiki. Bathi ngibhadale yona kuqala
Before.
ngizokhipha leli.
Oh.
Kuneyimoto ezithiwa.
Yeah.
Yebo baba.
Manje awusasebenzi.
Angisebenzi from 2015.
Bosebenza kuphi?
Anglo-American. Yeah, geoscience.
Geoscience. Wenzani khona?
Geoscience exploration. Yeah, ngisebenza ku-New
Enyuva. Ngiyazi inyuva.
ngisebenza lapha i-China. Yeah, ngisebenza.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ngiyezwa kahle. Ngiyezwa kahle. So uze ku-launch wena?
Thina singumsebenzi, nazi into zokusebenza sikhona lapha into ze-contract, sibenze contract. Nami sinekhampani yami encane, because umsebenzi awo. So inkinga yangu beyileyo.
Okay.
What are now your driver's license?
I-license uyiphethe?
Driver's license will be expiring.
No, futhi ngangiyivuselele, so bengakayi kamasipala kweyilana.
Unenkinga eziningi. No, noma ungadesk. Idiski ngiyayizwa kodwa i-license kufanele ukuthi uhlale une-license kuwe. Uma ungena emotweni,
Ngeke ngayivuselela baba nje kuba
uma ungena emotweni, you must have your license. Ngoba awukwazi ukuthi ungashayela imoto ungaphathanga amaphepha emoto. Lapho iphuthe elikhulu. Lapho-ke uyabona-ke uyaboshwa ngoba into eyingozi le. Ungena nje emgwaqweni unganamaphepha. Kufanele ukuthi silalele umthetho, usulandele umthetho. No, kulungile-ke mfowethu.
Bazokubopha ke.
Yeah.
All right. Also officer. All right. Dila ngale case, ne?
Bazothila naye icase yakho kodwa bazothila naye ngendlela yomthetho. Kodwa umuntu ofuntshile unekhampani
ngoba manje ngingasebenza ngoba sobayithatha lula ngizokhona ukuthi ngithole mabanga
no ngeke bathathe imoto yakho.
That's the problem with the engine. Especially when they've checked the engine. It's another problem.
It's another problem.
Yeah.
Oh my. Kunjani? What is the other problem?
The engine number.
You can,
Yeah.
but now, which is this one?
This is the VIN number.
Oh, this is the VIN number.
Yes. But
So the engine number now has been tempered.
Yes.
Yo,
So
he's got real problems.
yes, so we're going to impound the vehicle based on further investigation because we have to establish where this engine is coming
ngoba ngisho lemoto nginathengeze ngihamba ngayo even ngoba ngisho since ngayithenga 2009
Uzobachazela mfowethu. Ngeke ngikwazi
yabo lemoto le baba iqiniso nje
ukungena kuyo. Let's deal with it. Yeah, deal with the matter. Bazodila nayo icase yakho mfowethu yakhe. Into eziningi uzokwazi ukuzichazele kahle. If une-explanation ezwakalayo bazokubhalela.
Ne-evidence.
Ne-evidence.
sikhona yonke into ikhona.
Okay, no problem.
Siyabonga.
Ngizokhulumani ngoba ngihluphekile baba. Ngiyabonga.
This year I expect.
Okay.
Yeah, since I expired 2016, the license I expect.
Yeah, okay.
He was reading and he was studying, but you don't need that. Thank you, man.
Okay, thank you.
Dumela. Dumela. Ke ngwana o kae? Ka je go ke le podisa. License ya gago ke. Ke batla bona license.
Nka se o betse Mr. President, ka o betsa pata. O le podisa tshedi.
Ke le podisa ka je. License ya gago ya expire next year ka August. Tshwanetse re e renew. Koloi e ntse e tsamaya hantle.
Yes, sir.
The brakes and everything works.
It's new. It's got 673 kilometers.
Oh, it's still a new car.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's nice. Okay, where are you off to now?
We're off to Durban.
To Durban.
Home, yes.
Okay, and you'll be driving carefully and safely.
Yes,
Where's
sir.
home?
Home is in Durban.
Who?
Bluff.
Ebla.
Yeah.
Nihambe kahle.
Siyabonga.
Siyabonga.
Thank you.
Kunjani mfana? Uyaphila uyafunda wena? Ufunda bantu? Grade 5. Ah, ufundi. Siyabonga.
Thank you, Mr.
Nihambe
President.
kahle.
Thank you.
Sorry, so the president just spoke to us that you as a person who drives here, what do you think can be improved to reduce accidents here?
I think mainly it's just the speed. A lot of people are speeding through this, especially through this highway. I think it's just the speed and consuming of alcohol. A lot of people consume alcohol during the weekends. So if maybe that can be reduced a bit, I think we'll be fine.
Do you feel safe?
I do feel safe. I do feel safe, and I'm very excited to meet the president for the first time. Thank you. No, there's no cooler butts. Not today. Not today.
Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Travel safely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Go.
The mic. Okay, cool. Sure, thanks.
How are you?
I'm fine, very
well. Good job for you.
I still think I'm full.
How?
You're wrong,
You don't get this chance. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you? How are you? Well, where are you off to? Yaba. Yaba.
did release it. Completely finished, eh? It's it's not functioning. I'm blocking the ramp. People look on the ground and go missing.
Are you well? Good to see you. It's okay. That's wonderful.
We're going back to the marquee, to the marquee.
The marquee, yes. This is good.
Yeah.
Try to stand. Watch, don't fall. So the operation in pool was not.
No, the operation is for you. Yes.
Oh, the other side. Okay.
Yeah, but all those who don't want, respect the law.
I avoided it. Bavele ukuthi kunomcimbi.
But this operation started last month.
Yes, I heard so.
Yes. They'll go up until Sunday.
That's very good.
Yes, and then 365. Yeah, so we will just helping.
Maar che la presunta di sé non deve non guardo mi no, la dai di essere in contatto con Joe. Oh. Ja, ja. feel comfortable. It is like this. Feel comfortable. Yeah. Yeah. Is it? Oh, yeah. That's the camera. It's quite heavy. Hello. En Arnold Center regattano.
I don't mind that. If I can go, you don't tell me what I do.
Yeah.
a seat. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let us all get seated, please. I had already introduced myself, Jacob Mambula, MEC for Public Transport and Road Infrastructure in our province, Program Director. At this point, I need to acknowledge the presence of the President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, the Minister, Honorable Minister of Transport, Minister Let me also acknowledge the presence of the MECs Executive Mayor Lerato Maloka, who is the Mayor of Lesedi local municipality, and of course the Chairperson of the Road Traffic Management Agency, Advocate Zola Majavu, and of course CEO Msibi, and all the guests the program certainly being circulated subject to correction, and I will, without any waste of time, ask you to allow me to welcome to the stage Honorable Premier David Makura, the Premier of our province, who will do the welcoming address. Honorable Premier. Let's give the Premier a sound. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MEC Mambula, the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, the Minister of Transport, Minister Fikile Mbalula, all the MECs from our different provinces who are responsible for either community safety or transport or together, the Executive Mayor of the District of Sidibeng, Memudi Sakeng, the Executive Mayor of Lesedi Local Municipality, Councillor Lerato Maloka, the Chairperson of the RTMC, Advocate Majavu, and the CEO, the heads of our law enforcement agencies which are gathered here today, all our stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you all here at this very important occasion when we are here with our President to launch the Transport Month. We are gathered here to officially launch the 365 days road safety action agenda during the transport month. Masimshayeleni uzandla uPresident Ramaphosa. This is not good enough, eh? Yes. Thank you very much. I want to say just briefly that it is very important as a country that we emphasize that road carnage is very costly on our economy, on our people, because we lose too many lives on our roads. Too many people die on our roads, and these are breadwinners. These are people who contribute enormously to our economy, to our society, to families, to households. And we can do something about this by taking firm action to enforce the laws of our land, particularly ensure that all the traffic regulations and traffic laws are enforced. I also want to say that in general, Comrade President, you have been saying this quite a lot. We've been drifting to a lawless society, and we have to bring back the law. We have to enforce the laws of our land, and there must be consequences for those who break the laws of our land. And it is for this reason that we in Gauteng have launched a campaign in response to our communities. Whenever a crime is committed, communities have been saying, "Ukai mulao." Whenever a crime is committed, they come to us and say, where is the law? Where are the law enforcement officers? So in response to that question of communities, when they ask Ukai mulao, we have launched this campaign, Ukai mulao, which deals with law enforcement in all respects. This month, the transport month, we are going to escalate to focus on traffic offenses. And we will be there, we will be counted when we enforce ARTO. We will be there when we make sure that our roads are safer. We will be there when we track down those who are committing traffic offenses to make our roads much safer and to ensure that ours is a law-abiding society, is a society where rule of law is enforced. Thank you very much, and welcome to the Lesedi local municipality in the province of Gauteng. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to call to the podium Honorable Minister of Transport, Mr. Fikile Mbalula. There's a name I would have loved to use to call him Mr. Honorable Minister, address us, Minister.
Thank you, MEC, and all the MECs present here today. I've seen almost all our MECs are present here, including the new one from KZN. And Linda Temashinini, I Karutsuru Kiburoko, Mokiamona, Utimo, Libo Mebaru, Naba Limpopo, Northern Cape, Northwest, Kimanga Kimusiang. Mpumalanga iting. Okay, Mpumalanga iting. And then Likaivi, Abayo. I see all our entities almost are here. I won't single them out. The most important one is RTMC. Lending as we pronounce. Yeah. Ubabu Zolama Javu and the CEO and all officers present here. Good afternoon, officers. Why Karli Tsorgi Buroko? Good afternoon, officers. Yeah, 20 Lutwa, Leman Scala Tsorgi Buroko. So I mean, from all provinces, Mr. President, all our officers are here today, and all our entities. And of course, the bikers are here. Yeah. And then after that, and then our president, of course, and the media is here. They fill half of this hall. Media, our good friends, the media. I just made other media president to apologize to the special one. The media that wrote about me, I made them to apologize. And I asked them the question, and why they are laughing is because there is a traffic cop who asked a question and gave for me toots. And I said, we suspended him. Because we don't want drunken officers on the roads, isn't it? But President, I'm not going to say much. October month is declared by Cabinet from 2007 as Transport Month. And Cabinet in the 6th administration resolved that this October month we must launch 365 days Waya Ukai Mulau. And that's what we are launching today. I don't know what you will call in Afrikaans Ukai Mulau. Vares die vet, het jy my getoets? Ons moet hulle toets. And then Ukai Mulau in Zulu, I don't know. Upumteto. Yes. Upula umteto. Siyakubopha. Premier Makura started Ukai Mulau here in the province, and we're rolling it out 365 days throughout the year, because our people are dying on the roads. They are dying because of reckless driving. They are dying because of unroadworthy cars. They are dying because of drunken driving. Yesterday only, President, between Pretoria and Johannesburg, these police officers, road traffic officers, arrested 70 people for drunken driving. Just yesterday. And all those who are driving drunk on the roads must face the full wrath of the law. And the law that you have signed, President Arto, into law is going to introduce the demerit system. You break the law, you will lose points to the point of losing your driver's license. And that's what is going to happen. President will sign that sometime in the proclamation, and will have the law in full effect from June next year. So we mean business. 365 waya Ukai Mulau. 14,000 people die on the roads. 14,000 as we speak, and the number keep increasing. And the leading culprit in this is Limpopo. In Limpopo, when you get into an accident, guaranteed about 10 people will be dead on the roads. We've got taxis that are not supposed to be on the roads, that were declared that they are not supposed to. We're discussing with taxi owners about the recovery program. Without any waste of time, President, I just want to say welcome to Ukai Mulau, and the nation is waiting for you to command us into action and preserve lives and make South Africa a safe place to drive in. As you can see, our roads are the best in the world. Ukabanana rujeme nimo. makati mo South Africa ke ditsela tsa rona tseo tse auang ka ditšhelete tsa lona, that we must ensure that in those roads we don't take bribes. No more cool drink. Siyazwana? No cool drink, because you take cool drink, you'll be allowing that person to go and kill your brother, your mother, your sister, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, because of a cool drink. A person breaks the law, you arrest them. And that's what is going to happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Fikile Mbalula. At this point, let's put our hands and again stand up to welcome the President to the podium. President of the Republic of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Thank you. Let's be seated, please. Program Director, MEC Mbalula, Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, Premier of Gauteng, David Makura, Executive Mayor of Lesedi Municipality, Councillor Lerato Maloka, MECs from various provinces, mayors who are present here, officers, members and bikers of our law enforcement agencies, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's always a pleasure and a joy to listen to Minister of Transport, but this morning he was talking about girlfriends and boyfriends. I don't know what he knows about that. I'm honored to be part of this launch. It's a real joy and a pleasure to have been allowed to be here and to have also participated in the roadblock that they asked me to be a police official in, as I was checking the licenses of people, checking the roadworthiness of the vehicles, and also to see our facility of checking the roadworthiness of vehicles and how it operates. I was really impressed as I went around and talked to the officers and saw that they are absolutely diligent in executing their tasks. I'd like to thank you, all of you as officers, even as bikers, for the wonderful work that you do. Thank you very much. The nation is proud of you. It is good and noteworthy that this 1st October Transport Month of this 6th administration is being launched and taking place along the N3, which is one of our most important economic arteries in our country. This freeway is also an example of the remarkable infrastructure we've been able to build and to maintain during our 25 years of freedom and democracy. When Minister Mbalula speaks proudly of our road infrastructure, he is indeed telling the absolute truth, because our road infrastructure is something that many people who come visiting our nation are quite amazed at and are deeply impressed about. So we can be proud that we have on the main arteries of our nation really good road infrastructure. However, we are also here today to acknowledge the tragic human and economic cost that is inflicted by collisions and accidents along this freeway, as well as many other roadways around our country. With us today are a number of people who are survivors of such accidents and people who have experienced loss in their own families or amongst their friends and colleagues. We offer all of you our heartfelt sympathy and support and the commitment that government and all the sectors of society will continue to work very hard together to achieve a change in road user behavior. And this launch here is about changing road user behavior, that as South Africans, as we use the roads of our country, we must change our behavior, our approach, and our disposition when we are on the roads. Our roads won't become safer unless we change our attitudes as road users. Safer roads do not begin with more police or greater enforcement. We will have safer roads when we begin to take into account of the interests of all road users, such as pedestrians, other drivers, passengers, or cyclists, when we embark on our journeys. And safer roads begin with checking our vehicles, keeping them off the road if they are not roadworthy. Now, I was very impressed when I was taken to the mobile testing station, when Officer Mlambo ran that testing process, the mobile one on the road, and was able to show me how it is able to look underneath to see that everything is still well fastened, the brakes, the balancing of the wheels, and all that. And he then gave a printed report which showed that indeed this system does work, which showed that the balancing was a little bit out of line here, the brakes were still okay. And when I asked where this was made, the Premier was the first to respond and said, it is made here in South Africa, right here in this province. So I was very proud. But then I was told something else, that when road users, some road users know that this mobile unit has been installed in a particular road, some road users phone each other and they tell them to divert. So sizawuzi installer kuzo zonke indawo, there won't be any place to hide or to run away to. Now, safer roads also begin with an understanding that no one owns the road, and that the roads are stretches of infrastructure we share, all of us as citizens, as a common benefit to all of us. So this means that no one should ever, as they use the road, think that the road belongs to them and that they must do as they wish on the road. They must always, everybody must always know that when we use the road, we must use the road with great respect to other users of the road. In fact, when we drive, all of us as South Africans, we must drive knowing that we are not only driving for ourselves, but we are also driving for other people and take the interests of other road users into account. And safer roads begin with mutual respect between law enforcement officers as well as road users. We all have a right to safety, and it is up to each of us to create that safety through our own conduct. And today, as we launch this campaign, we are essentially saying, let us take into account that we will only have safer roads if we change our attitude, if we change our conduct. It is up to each one of us, in the end, not to drink and drive. It is for me quite a concern that just last night when they had a roadblock, up to 70 people were arrested within a short space of time, having had a little bit too much to drink. We must, as South Africans, do what other countries do. When you are in other countries, you are often, even if you are in a party or so, someone who is going to drive will always say, I cannot even touch a little sip of wine or any alcohol because I am going to drive. This is something that we must inculcate in our own citizens, that if you know you are going to drive, you must not even touch a sip of alcohol. And we are going to change the law now to ensure that we actually bring down the threshold, so that those who are used to drinking and driving must know that we are now going to be very firm. We are going to take strong action, because it is people who drink and drive who kill people, and we must stop the killing on our roads through people who are drinking and driving. It is about time now that as South Africans, we must start respecting the law. Much of lawlessness is spreading throughout our country, and we've now become used as South Africans that we can do whatever we like. We cannot have a lawless country. We cannot have a country where there is no rule of law. Rule of law must be the order of the day here in South Africa, and we are going to make sure that it happens. We are very proud of our officers on the road who are the guardians of the rule of law. I'd like to thank you and applaud you for the work that you do in making sure that those road users who don't obey the law, you take them to book. And last night you arrested 70, and I am very happy with the work that you did last night. Please continue. Now, each one of us as South Africans, we must have our individual sense of responsibility, that all of us must act responsibly. Yes, from a traffic official. And we were very embarrassed when a traffic official was caught poop drunk, completely drunk. And that should never happen. That should never happen. It is our responsibility, all of us, to make sure that people drive carefully on the road. We arrive alive wherever we're going, uninjured, and without any infringements, without any fines, without any judgments against our names all the time. There should be no need for families to plant crosses on the roads and place flowers along our sidewalks and our roadsides because somebody has died on our roads. It pains me that our country continues to experience many deaths on our roads, and people die in their thousands a year and people who do not need to die. And when it is often either Christmas period when people travel, Easter weekends and long.
All right, we do apologize. We seem to have lost that signal to the president delivering the keynote address. We understand that we've got that signal back. Let's go there now live.
As drivers, as road users. In addition to the immense human cost of fatal accidents, there is obviously a significant economic cost. Such accidents cost the country an estimated 147 billion rand every year. 147 billion rand is a lot of money, but that becomes the cost when we get involved in accidents that result in the deaths of South Africans. We must stop this dire situation for the sake of preserving the health of our people, but also the productivity of our country. In recognition of these challenges, South Africa has committed itself to the United Nations Decade of Action for Road Safety, which seeks to reduce road fatalities and injuries. Now, which means that the world is now focusing on us, is going to focus on us, and the world at the United Nations level expects us as South Africa to improve our performance. They expect us as road users to improve the way we use the road. They are now going to shine a torch on what we do on our roads. So we have become part of that commitment. And as part of this commitment, government has introduced several measures that will usher in the manner in which road traffic safety issues are addressed. The Administration Adjudication of Road Traffic Offences Act is one of the interventions that Minister Mbalula spoke about to form a more effective and efficient link between enforcement and a transparent and fair adjudication process. The Act promotes responsible behavior of our roads or on our roads through the creation of a demerit system, as the Minister said, which introduces meaningful consequences for reckless, negligent, and inconsiderate conduct. With this, South Africa is joining a growing number of countries in the world where the consequences of infringing the law and offenses are felt in the pockets, in the livelihoods, and in the lives of those who break the law. Our roads are important, and they are an important part of the national transport system that we want. Before the dawn of democracy in 1994, we all know that our country did not have a cohesive, integrated transport system. Transport infrastructure served only a minority of South Africans in an economy which was isolated, which was physically and politically isolated from world markets. Logistics entailed connections between industrial hubs and mining areas for the purpose of ferrying goods to harbors and airports. Elsewhere throughout the country, many of our people were left unconnected through the road infrastructure, and they were left isolated in the rural areas, and even in the townships. The roads in the township where I grew up were just, gravel roads with many potholes and big ditches, and it only started changing after democracy. The available modes of public transport services, design of our cities and towns and rural areas meant that the majority of our people lived far away from work, far away from educational opportunities and other services. Now, to this day, the cost of transport contributes to the impoverishment of our people. Many of our people spend easily 40 to 45, even to 50% of their income on transport, because the apartheid spatial infrastructure was such that the poorer people, black people, lived far further and further and further away from the industrial centers where they worked and places of work. This has an impact on the quality of life of millions of South Africans and the cohesion of our families. Now today, as we mark 14 years since the launch of October Transport Month, we can point to important progress in developing integrated public transport systems that connect our major economic hubs and townships. Millions of our commuters are now benefiting from integrated public transport in metros such as Johannesburg, Tshwane, Ekurhuleni, Cape Town, eThekwini. These help to ensure that people can get to work safely and that they can get to work on time. Even so, we remain concerned about the persistence of vandalism of public assets in various parts of the country and commuters' vulnerability to crime when they use public transport. During this October Transport Month, we want to invite South Africans once again to use public transport as much as possible, to share vehicles, to cycle to work, to walk to work where they can, not only to reduce congestion and carbon emissions, but as part of engaging with each other.
These proverbial gremlins in the system, we do apologize for that. We're going to try and strengthen that signal and bring you the President's keynote address at the official launch of the October Transport Month campaign. It's all aimed at bringing down these road fatalities in South Africa. And let's just recap of what the President has said. He says roads won't become safer if we don't change our attitudes as road users. That's very key as well. He says safer roads begins with checking your vehicles and keeping them off the roads if they do not meet the actual standard and they are not roadworthy. Something very interesting that the President just said a short while ago. He says that changing the law to bring down the threshold with regards to the blood alcohol limit in terms of drinking and driving. So one to watch out in terms of how this unfolds. And also spoke about this demerit system, which he says introduces a meaningful consequences in terms of, defaulters on our roads. Now, just to give you a bit of a sense in terms of this demerit system and how it works, it will basically, each driver will start off from 0. Points and earning certain points, certain demerit points for each violation of the traffic law. Now, once you reach 12 points, we're told, the licenses will be suspended. Now, if we heard correctly, the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, did say that this will be implemented, the ARTO Act will be implemented in June. We'll get some clarification on that. We haven't heard the President confirm that, but as it stands, from what we've heard, the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, saying that the law, the ARTO law, which was signed into law by the President in August, will be implemented in June next year. Stand by for confirmation on that. So once we fix up that line, we'll try to bring that to you as soon as possible. All right, so let's just get you a quick update with regards to the cricket in South Africa and
That is where we now are. We are now going to ramp up our infrastructure build. We're going to ramp up a lot of transportation improvements throughout the country. We are currently in the process of implementing the Moloto Corridor development northeast of Pretoria, where we are enhancing commuter and traffic safety while developing viable economic projects along this important transit route. Now, the Moloto Road stretches over 160 kilometers and it spans over 3 provinces, Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and Limpopo, and it is used by tens of thousands of commuters every day. Elsewhere in the country, we are upgrading the N7 Oliphants River Bridge in the Western Cape, which is strategic to the movement of people and goods between South Africa and Namibia. There is significant construction work that we are doing on the N2 in KZN and in the upgrade of the N3 in the Hammersdale interchange. This month, we will be launching 3 bus rapid transit systems in different municipalities across the country. These are in the Harambee Pilot Rapid Service from Tembisa, Kempton Park, Isando, and OR Tambo, Lieto La Polokwane in Limpopo, and Go Durban BRT in eThekwini. We are looking to the various bus rapid transit systems to help stimulate urban regeneration by bringing poor communities closer to economic opportunities and urban areas. Our investment in the transport sector over the years has helped transform and improve the quality of life of millions of our people who were previously excluded from the economy. However, we still have a lot more to do. It is only when we do little bits that we realize that there's much more to do. Now, with the growth in urbanization, as you know, many more of our people are moving from various parts of the country going to urban areas. Now, our government must be prepared for future challenges as many more people come to the cities. This will place a great deal more strain on our transport infrastructure, and it will lead to more congestion on our roads and require more enforcement capacity. Now, as cities grow, as well at the same time as informal settlements spread further away from urban centers, the need to have an integrated developmental planning process becomes ever more important. We need to understand transport as an integral part of a much larger plan for the provision of infrastructure and services. Economic growth as well as service delivery can only take place when we have efficient, effective transportation that is reliable, that is safe, and that is integrated. Now, in this October month, let us affirm our commitment to work together to build a transport system that is going to be both safe, that is going to be efficient, that is going to be economically effective, and that is going to be socially friendly to our people so that the livelihoods of our people can keep on improving. For its part, government will continue to invest in innovative ways to grow the transport sector, to improve our people's lives, and to build a more prosperous and inclusive society. But in the end, all of us have a role to play in all this. Each one of us gathered here, be it a minister, be it the premier, be it MECs, mayors, and our law enforcement officers in the SAPS, in our metro traffic system, every one of us, community members, we all have a role to play. And I've been saying that the only way we can move our country forward is if each one of us takes up our responsibility to make sure that indeed we do play our role in ensuring that South Africa, our beautiful country, does move forward. But in the end, during this month, we call upon road users, drivers, pedestrians, cyclists, and everyone else to make sure that we cooperate with our law enforcement officers. We actually should work with them. We should have mutual respect, change our behavior, make sure that we make our roads safe. And it should not only be for this month, it should be, as our campaign and our slogan says, 365 days. It must be 365 days of safe utilization of our roads, 365 days of enforcement. Now, I was very pleased to hear our Premier here, Premier Makura, saying quite often he is called sometimes for surprise participation in roadblocks, and sometimes it's called at midnight. They just say, Premier, we're going to set up a roadblock at midnight, and he immediately gets out of his pajamas, he told me, and wears his boots, and he joins our officers who are going to mount a roadblock. I didn't ask him what color his pajamas are, but he tells me that he does wake up and immediately takes up the responsibility. Now, Minister Mbalula, who somebody told me that he's 3 in 1, sports, police, and now transport. He wears green pajamas when he goes to sleep. So Nanige, wake him up so that he also comes and participates in roadblocks. On occasion, you also taught me a new job. Yabona Namhlanje was a police official for a few minutes, so that when I'm no longer that I'm in now, at least I have a future as a police officer in your roadblocks. But I want to end by thanking all of you. Let us take this month seriously, but much more importantly to all of us as South Africans, let us take the 365 days much more seriously. I would really like to see a new change, a new behavior. As we are going now to the festive season, let us ramp up our good behavior and reduce the incidence of accidents, and make sure that lesser and lesser people die on our roads. But as far as our officers are saying, let's carry on with the BOPA campaign. Those who don't obey the law, thank you very much.
It's green, we're told. All right, the President.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot to you. Thanks.
Campaign, saying some pertinent things.
Thank you very much, President. Now, at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that we are moving very fast at a speed of Gautrain, which is very safe speed. So we are going towards the end of our program, except for few activities, and then of course we'll take the vote of thanks. At this point, allow me to ask all of you to join me as we unveil the Arrive Alive 3D logo, the three-dimensional logo of Arrive Alive. And because, as you know, and I hope the MECs will agree, that because our province, we pride ourselves as the home ground of smart technologies, we are going to do it electronically, not manually. We are the home ground of smart technologies, so we will do it using technology. So everyone, just as you are seated where you are, you can just keep your eyes to the screens, and for the table, President, Premier Minister, and Executive Mayor, there's a screen right here. I hope I hope you can see, yes. My apologies. But for those who were here earlier before the President and Minister and Premier arrived, we did stand up earlier, so I'm happy that we did apologize and now reciprocated, President, that you did stand before. So you can remain seated, and now I'm going to be given something to press, or somebody will press it. I'm quite sure that at the time when it's been pressed, you will see it. If it doesn't come out, it could be there was accident in the technology, but I think it will come out. Are we ready? Can I count to 3? We are going to count to 3, and we'll start with 3. 3, 2, 1. Can it come? Okay. That's okay. So that is the 3D logo of Arrive Alive, which from today on will be the logo that will lead our drive to make sure that our roads are safe. So let's welcome the new Arrive Alive logo by clapping our hands. It is a very beautiful logo, and as you can see, it is a three-dimensional logo, which I'm quite sure it will make a very huge, drastically reduce on our roads. So go to my left at the stand. We are going to unveil a memorial plaque, and the protocol team will support the president. They're just going to, they'll show how to unveil. As they do that, once they unveil it, we will acknowledge it by again giving it a thunderous applause. President, Premier Minister, move it. Yeah. Executive Mayor, sorry. My apologies to the Mayor. Executive Mayor. Yeah, Executive Mayor, join. Yeah. So we will, should we count to 3? Or can I count? Is it, okay. I hope everybody can see. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I've been asked to read it. The plaque reads as follows. This plaque was, thank you, you can take your seats, President, Minister, and Premier and Executive Mayor. I'll read it to you. This plaque was unveiled by His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa on this 5th day of October 2019 to commemorate the lives of those who perished on our roads. We commit to do all that is possible to reduce road carnage. We pledge in their memory to promote road safety on an ongoing basis. Arrive alive. Out in memory of all those who lost their lives on our roads, let's observe a moment of silence in their memory. Let's all rise to observe a moment of silence. Thank you very much. May their soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, allow me to call to the podium the Executive Mayor of Lesedi Local Municipality, Councillor Lerato Maluka, who will do vote of thanks, and after that, we will do announcements, and those announcements are very, very, very much important. They'll require that we still remain seated for very important announcements, top secret for now. Let's put our hands together to welcome the Executive Mayor, Lerato Maluka.
Thank you very much, Program Director, for this opportunity afforded to me today. Just to say a few words before we can depart. As protocol dictates, a big thanks to you, the MEC Mbalula, for directing this program with distinction. In the same vein, on behalf of the multitude of our people, including the present here, we give our indivisible special thanks to our Mr. President, Ndate Ramaphosa, as we have witnessed today the Arrive Alive logo and the unveiling of the plaque that we promise that a South African will arrive alive. And also, President, where we are today, the N3, this is one of our economic nodal corridor that needs your support. We need to boost the economy of this town, which is Heidelberg. From where we stand, we are unmistakably in the hands of Gauteng Premier, Mr. David Makhura, who welcome us with open arms because this is a home to be the most drivers of all intent and purposes. Therefore, Gauteng deserve the forefront runners status and title. Our many thanks to the ministers and the deputy ministers who came and graced this occasion in this part of the province. To the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, consider your work as being well carried out, and you deserve no less thanks to the amount of work you put, and the reduction of roads offences and deaths requires no miracles, but a hard work. To the mayors, the councillors of Lesedi Local Municipality and the other municipality in our district, also, we acknowledge and say thanks for you to come into this occasion. Our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your presence, and do not get tired of all governments when it calls you. It is your civil duty to respond positively. I thank you.
Thank you very much for the applause acknowledging the address, the vote of thanks by the Executive Mayor. We have now come to the end of our program. I would like to make the following announcements. One announcement, there are two announcements that have been given. The first one is to the media houses, that as people go to the places I'll announce, you are asked to just come behind the stage, exit through that door. There will be a media briefing there. So just behind the stage. And the second announcement is that catering will be served President. So how it is going to be done is that all the guests, there is a tent on my left, outside, this one just on the left, all the guest catering will be done in that tent. All law enforcement agencies will be in this tent where we are. All the law enforcement agencies that are keeping their eye working on the road, arrangements have been made. There are stations along the road. There are tents there as well, and that is where catering will take place. We have come to the end of the program. I would like to thank everyone, and at this point, let's allow the President of our most beautiful Republic of South Africa, the Premier, Minister, and the Executive Mayor, and the MECs, and to exit, and the protocol will, of course, guide them. But the event has come to an end. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Arrive alive, have a safe, wonderful day. Thank you very much.